Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I wanted to have a chat today about Series 16, almost 1 year on, and also my plans for reading up to the end of the year, so sort of a 2-in-1 video. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you all of the books that I have currently on my TBR. It does feel like there's quite a lot, but we'll see. So, non-fiction, I have The Ministry of Guidance Invites You Not to Stay by Hooman Majd, which I have just dipped my nose into just the first sort of few pages. Failed States by Noam Chomsky, which I haven't dared start yet. And What Works by Bohnet, which I am a chapter and a half into. And then short stories wise, I have 3 again. I have DeLillo's The Angel Esmerelda and Other Stories, In the Country by Mia Alvar, and Deception by Roald. And then on to fiction, which is clearly my weakness. I have the last 2 novels in the Bachman books by Stephen King, which is The Running Man and Roadwork. Yeah, The Running Man and Roadwork. The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon, which I am 2 chapters into. The Association of Small Bonds by Karan Mahajan, which I have just started this morning. I think I butchered that name, apologies. The Many by Wyl Menmuir. Tale of a Aypi by Welsapar. The Sunlight Pilgrims by Jenni Fagan. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson, McCullers. The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. Moscow in the 1930s by Natalia, Gromova. The Pale King by David Foster Wallace. Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeline, Thien. Sutri by Cormac McCarthy, which I've started and it's gorgeous, but it's something that, because of the language use, I need to have either the internet or the dictionary with me all the time to read. Jose Saramago's Death at Intervals. And Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. And then in the sort of other camp, I have McSweeney's issue 45, Hitchcock and Bradley Fist Fight in Heaven, Edward Hopper's Portraits of America, and The Ballad of Sexual Dependency by Nan Golding. So I have 24 books on my shelf that I own that I have yet to read, which is not ideal, and I know that, considering we're coming toward the end of 2016. I've currently read 180 books this year, and whilst I had told myself that I was going to not try and aim for the 200 books, I'm probably going to be painfully close, as in I'll probably be 195. I kind of want to push to reach 200 just because it was my aim at the beginning of the year. I don't want to be overly harsh on myself if I don't meet it, but I think I can probably get 20 of those things read. I will be taking the 2 art books as 2, which will make it a little bit easier because I can probably sit down and look over those in an afternoon each, rather than it being a couple day thing. So I have 34 days to read 20 books. So it's going to be a case of choosing which of those 20 books I think are going to be the ones I want to try and get to in this year. And it's always a little bit weird because you get to this part of the year and you think, wow, it's gone so quickly. Now what I'm probably going to say to myself is that because I may well acquire other books within the next sort of 34 days, that I want to have no more than 3 non-fiction, which is what I have at the moment, no more than 3 short stories, which is what I have at the moment, no more than 5 novels left at the end of this year. Which I think is sort of a decent amount to give myself. I ideally know sort of others, but I wouldn't be too stressed if I did have McSweeney's there, just because it's something that I'll pick at a little bit more. But yes, so I think that's a sort of workable goal, isn't it? So that would give me, what, 11 books left on my TBR at the end of the year. I do want to try and finish my 200, so the more mathematically minded of you will note that actually I would only have 4 left if I read everything and bought nothing more. But we shall see what happens. I think it's just going to have to be the way it is. I've found throughout this year that I actually much prefer it when I do have a very small TBR. Even when it is as it is now, which isn't the sort of monstrous sort of 70 or 80 books I had at the beginning of 2015, it stresses me out to have as many as I do on my shelf. I didn't think it did, but I think actually the more I gather, the more that it irritates me. I'm not going to be doing a sort of mad rush to 0 books again, but I am tapering my buying and aiming to get back to very low numbers, probably ideally less than 10 books at any one time, and I want to get to a stage where I am reading what I'm buying within 2 months of my purchase date, which is what I was doing at the very beginning of 2016. I find that my interest in things wanes quite quickly, and it's much better for me to buy and read straight away than it is for me to accumulate and then pick from a sort of library. It's just how it works for me. But I am really glad that I did 0 by 16, and I think that it's really valuable that I've learned that fewer books is much easier for me. So that's what I'm kind of going to be doing from where we are now, which is the 27th of November, up until the end of the year, is trying to read as many of those books that I own as I can in that time, and just to continue to be cautious about the way I'm buying. Now I've actually acquired, as in gone to the library, borrowed, had for review 173 books this year. And as I said, I've read 180. So you'd think that that would leave me -7, right? The reason why it is skewed is not because I've actually over-purchased this year, but because I didn't include Christmas, which came at the very end of December, obviously last year, in my 0 by 16. So I had, I think, 30 or so books that I got for Christmas that I didn't include. That's why I have the stack I do now. I've bought pretty consistently what I've been reading throughout the year, so I just need to taper back, and I've purposefully not asked for books this year for Christmas. It was a little bit weird. I might get a couple, but I'm not actually expecting to have any, and then I should be able to read through the pile that I have at the moment. And try and keep my TBR as low as possible. Let me know what your thoughts on this are. How are you feeling if you have a lower TBR or if you have an exploding one? Would you try and push yourself to sort of finish the books you have, or do you like having a big library of things to read through? It's just interesting to reflect sort of a year on, and I will do a short video right at the beginning of 2017 just to tell you how many books I have left, how many books I'm starting with, and how I'm planning to address that. It will be part of my 2017 resolutions, so look out for that one. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you're all well, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye bye.